What's up, guys? It's Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be talking about 3 different wide receiver press releases, when to use each one, how to use each one, and then the names for each one of these press releases, okay? So we're going to be talking about when to use this release against each specific coverage, what's the technique behind the release, how can you guys actually improve this, and then just basically what the name is so you guys can remember it, okay? So I hope this video helps you guys out, but also, fellas, we are going to be traveling to 8 more states this offseason for a 2-day-long quarterback and wide receiver training camps. We just got back from Tampa, Florida, but now we're going to be traveling to Houston, Texas, Phoenix, Arizona, Newark, New Jersey, Atlanta, Georgia, Chicago, Illinois, Dallas, Texas, Nashville, Tennessee, and Los Angeles, California. So if you guys are local to one of those 8 cities, we are going to be coming at you this year for smaller quarterback and wide receiver training camps. Spots are going to be limited to only 10 to 12 guys per position group, per age group. Our Houston and Phoenix camps are almost sold out. So if you guys want some more information on our camps, what we're going to be emphasizing, check out that very first link in the description below. Let's get started with this video. So now, the first release we're looking at here is a slide release. This is from KJ Hill, and I want to mainly talk about when to use the slide and the mechanics of the slide, okay? So now, KJ Hill uses this kick step behind him to work on the slide, but let's talk about, and we're going to talk about the mechanics of that, why that works. But first, when do you want to use that slide release, right? So a slide release is where, simply terms, you just slide this DB to the outside, you work him off of that platform. The goal is to get him to shuffle off this platform, and I only like this type of release on a slant route and then maybe a fade route. Now, when do you use this type of release? So obviously, it's a longer developing release. A lot of people don't understand this. A lot of people think that every single slant route that they run is the exact same. As a wide receiver, we don't need to only know my route. I need to know the entire play concept as a whole, and I need to know, most importantly, what kind of a drop back and what kind of protection the offensive line is in. And it doesn't need to be that particular. It doesn't need to be that specific where you need to be able to call out audibles and know when to change the protection or whatever. But you should know if the quarterback is in 3-step passing game, so 3-step pass game, or if he is in quick game, right? So a quick game slant. A quick game slant is where the quarterback is just catching the ball, setting his feet, and then throwing, right? A 3-step game is where he's going to drop back, take 3 steps on his drop, probably high-low concept where you're a slant underneath, and maybe it's like a scissors concept over the top where he's reading corner to post back to slant. So how does that apply to a slide release? The slide release is something you would want to use when it's 3-step drop back pass, or if it is play action, right? So if the quarterback and the running back are doing maybe like an RPO and you have to run a slant. If you guys run this slant and you're too quick to the window when they're doing the RPO back here, that's going to be bad, because then you could have another defender slip back into the window and take away the slant. So we have to make sure we know when to use a longer developing release. So that is when it's a hesitate, when it's like a ride 'em fake, where it's like a RPO, play action, or when you are the second or third read on a play and the quarterback is looking high back down to you low on the slant. So that's what we got to focus on, fellas. So now let's talk about the mechanics of this slide release. So the slide release is when I have a DB who's maybe inside shade and I have to run this slant, there's a couple mistakes that wide receivers make is they'll do this slide release and they'll go lateral. Right? So you see how when KJ Hill does this, when he slides, he's attacking vertical, but he's not too close to the DB where the DB is going to be able to get hands. This is the perfect angle that you guys want to attack on that slide release. A lot of guys, what they'll do is they'll come off this line and they'll slide lateral. Like I said, DB slides lateral. Maybe they get him to move. Maybe they get him to jump a little bit, but they still have to get here. And that DB's got just as much time as you do to be able to react to this thing and make a play on the ball. So we have to threaten him vertical to get him to commit off that platform. And so when I make my move, I can go tight right by his hip and get separation. So that's exactly what he does. He attacks him on that 45-degree angle. He shuffles. He's nice and patient with his feet, and he's staying in a good pad level. Another mistake guys will make is when they do this slide release, that chest will pop straight up in the air. Guess what that DB is going to do? Get hands, jam, and knock you off of this thing, right? So now, to be able to shoot you out wide with some kind of explosion, some kind of twitch to the outside right here, what KJ Hill does is he takes a kick step with that back foot. This is not a false step. This is a part of the release where you kick behind. That kick step back here allows you to shoot and allows you to push to the outside. A lot of wide receivers don't do that. A lot of wide receivers will come right out of their stance and they will just shuffle straight to the outside. They don't have any explosion. They don't have any twitch. They don't have any burst. So this kick step right here will shoot you out wide to the outside, and that's what gets you off of that platform, and that's what will force a reaction off of this DB. So that's what we have to understand. Now, everybody loves to ask me, well, coach, what if I hit this slide release and I got to run a slant and that DB just sits to the inside. Okay, next time I come back, what were the two routes that I said I like this the most on? I like this the most on slants. I like this the most on fades, right? So now if he wants to sit to the inside, maybe I ran a slant and maybe I was covered. Okay, I'm going to come off the line. I'm going to do the exact same thing. You see guys like Devontae Adams do this all the time. I'm going to kick step. I'm going to slide. I'm going to make it look the exact same. And then I am just going to take off and run a fade. If he wants to guess and sit to the inside, I'm going to dog him on a separate route. As a wide receiver, we have to learn how we can pair routes together so we can be unguardable. Let's watch the thing again, full speed one more time. So the first wide receiver press release is the slide release. Make sure we're kicking behind. Make sure we know the situation to use this in, whether it's an RPO or a third read concept, and know that we got to go at that 45-degree angle to threaten that DB vertical. Let's watch the thing again, full speed. Great job sliding. Great job giving that move and then creating that separation from KJ Hill. Okay, so now, next release we're going to be talking about is a dive release. Okay, so a dive release I only like on like a 5-yard out probably, just simply because if I try to do anything deeper like a corner, like maybe a 10-yard out, it's just not going to, we don't have enough time for this, right? So a dive release is where it's like the opposite of a diamond release. Everybody I'm sure knows what a diamond release is, where you take, like you got a DB who's inside shade. This is what you would use if you were a first read on a quick game slant, where you take 3 hard steps to the outside, DB commits his hips, and then we slip back underneath. Now it's just the opposite. You're going to be taking 2 to 3 hard steps depending on your feet to the inside. So let's watch Chase Claypool work this here. So he comes off, takes 2 steps to the inside, throws that DB by, and is able to make this play on a 5-yard out or a flat route, right? So now, what are we trying to sell with this? We are trying to sell a drag. So again, like I said, a dive release, Claypool kind of attacks him here, so it ends up being 3 steps. But normally what it mainly is you're stepping 1, your first step here. First step is going down a 45-degree angle to the inside, selling like I am running a drag. And then your second step comes, and that's the step that you plant off of. So it's 2 to 3 hard steps crossing a DB's face to the inside. So like I said, I only like this on a 5-yard out route against maybe head-up press. I don't like it against inside shade press. I like it against either head-up press or outside shade press. Because if he's outside shade, I want to attack that inside shoulder to try to get his hips to flip vertical, try to get him to flip to that seat, to that slant, to that drag, whatever it is, and then I slip back underneath. Now, what gets this DB to move, because a lot of people, again, will ask me, Coach, what if I do this dive release and this DB doesn't move? We got to make sure that when you see Claypool come off here, he's got speed, right? There's speed on that dive release. There's speed on that 45. That's what's going to make this guy react, but also his hips and his shoulders are committed to it. A lot of guys will do this dive release, and that shoulder and that hip are always kind of turned. They're always kind of open. They're like half in, half out. We have to fully commit with my upper half. I have to have speed, and that's what gets that DB to bite on this thing. Nothing about this route at this specific point right here says that he's going to be running an out route. And that's how you guys get unguardable. A lot of receivers don't understand that you have to make it look so in every facet of the route, you have to make it look like you're doing something else. So you got to have speed. That's going to make a DB commit. Your eyes have to be there. That'll make a DB commit. And we have to have my pad level there. And when I could get that DB to commit his hips, I could just swat him by, I could get him off, and then I could get a ton of separation. That's a great job there by Chase Claypool working that dive release. Let's watch it again, full speed one more time. So dive release, using it only on a 5-yard out versus outside leverage or head-up press. And I've got to make sure that I sell this thing with speed, body language, and eyes. Let's watch it again, full speed. Great job coming off, taking those 2 hard steps to the inside, and then being able to throw by to create some separation. All right, fellas, so now the last release that we are going to be talking about is a hesitation hop release, okay? So you could throw a single move off of this. You could throw a hesitation hop and do a double move, a triple step, a lot of different things you could do, but I just want to talk about the hesitation step that Amari Cooper uses right here. So now let's watch it full speed. So he hesitates and then gives that move to the inside. And that's able to create a ton of separation for him. He's able to run a comeback, get some space, and break it off. So what's a hesitation hop? A hesitation hop is that little hop that you see him use right there, where we are attacking the leverage of the DB and closing the distance with us and the DB. So a hesitation hop is something you want to use when a DB is 2 to 3 yards off. Okay, so he's in this thing that we call catch technique, because what he's hoping is that, okay, he's giving me some cushion. We got 2 yards off. He's hoping that because he's going to be running a comeback, an out route, that he'll just take off and go run it, and then this DB could get hands right into my hip and force him to the sideline. So anytime that I have to attack a DB's leverage, a hesitation hop is a great way to do that. So like if I have an inside shade guy like so, and I have to run an outside breaking route, I want to attack the inside first, right? We talked about that before in this channel. I want to attack the DB. I want to square the DB up, give him a move to the inside, then go. And that hesitation hop is a great way to do that, to get this DB to stop his feet, because that DB is going to be matching my tempo. I control the tempo. As a wide receiver, I control the tempo of the route. I control the tempo of the play based on the timing of the play with my quarterback, right? So that hesitation hop is a great way to do that. So what you want to do is you want to push off of that back foot. You push off of that back foot and you reach with the front foot. You push off the back foot, reach with the front foot. And then when you can close the distance with that DB, that's what makes him uncomfortable. He's going to have to be forced to watch your hips. He's going to be forced to be on his toes. And then I could give him that move to the inside where I step outside his frame, a little head and shoulder fake, whatever you guys decide to choose off of that hesitation hop. Because you might have to take like an inside breaking route. Like let's say you're running a dig. You might hesitation hop at him and he might jump to the outside. And then you can just take off and run. Kind of like that slide release where you slide and then go run a fade. So that hesitation hop is a great move to use when you have to attack a DB's leverage and when you have to square a DB up. So that is the third press release you guys can use. So to recap, fellas, we got the slide release, we got the dive release, and then we have the hesitation hop release where I'm squaring up a DB. Let's watch the thing again, full speed. Great job attacking. Great job giving that move and then being able to accelerate out of this comeback route. Great route there by Amari Cooper. All right, guys, we want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you guys have any questions at all, don't hesitate to leave those in the comment section below. We'll get back to you as soon as I possibly can. I always appreciate the feedback, and it's always great to hear from you guys. And again, fellas, we are coming to 8 cities the remainder of this offseason. We just got done with our Tampa, Florida camp, but we're coming out to Houston, Phoenix, Newark, Atlanta, Chicago, Dallas, Nashville, and Los Angeles. So if you guys are local to those areas, want to come out and get some working with us in a small group setting, spots are going to be limited because we really actually want to take the time to coach you guys, not just run you through drills. Check out that very first link in the description below. I'll see you guys next time.